Zombies are one of the most common tropes and plot points across fiction, and Star Wars is no exception. The franchise has taken several leaps into this horror subgenre on several occasions, perhaps most infamously in the Clone Wars series and the 2009 Death Troopers novel. But what about the time Mace Windu almost became a zombie, or the ancient Sith's Korriban zombies? Today, we're diving into the terrifying history of zombies in a galaxy far, far away. Project Blackwing. Let's begin with Project Blackwing, made famous in Joe Schreiber's Death Troopers novel and its later released tie-in prequel, Red Harvest. Both novels are considered legends, however, Blackwing itself is canon after appearing in Star Wars Commander. The Imperial Bioweapons Project 171A, also known as the Sickness or Blackwing, was an infectious viral agent that attacked biological tissue and transformed its victims into undead zombies. It was created using Sith alchemy and activated by the Murakami orchid, a highly force-sensitive black flower. The disease was originally created by the Sith Lord Darth Dreer, almost 5,000 years before the events of A New Hope. Dreer, like Darth Plagueis, Sidious, Vader, and many others who succeeded him, was obsessed with immortality. Victims of the plague suffered numerous, extremely painful side effects prior to death, and became mindless monstrosities. The virus was fully self-aware, and had some sort of a hive mind mentality, using the undead to spread and either transform or eat any who avoided infection. Due to the extremely quick rate of transmission and the difficulty of isolation, successful treatment of the disease was rare, although one could be prevented from contracting the virus by injecting an antivirus, but those who were already infected had a little chance of survival. Darth Dreer's initial experiments resulted in failure, Dreer falling victim to his own creation. 1,000 years later, the Sith Lord, Darth Scarberus, attempted to recreate Dreer's disease in the hopes to succeed where the former failed, but ended up not only infecting himself, but unleashing the virus upon those present at a nearby Sith Academy. Knowledge of the sickness survived several millennia and eventually fell into the hands of Darth Vader during the reign of the Galactic Empire. The former Anakin Skywalker commissioned a scientific team from the Imperial Biological Weapons Division aboard the Star Destroyer Vector to re-engineer the virus and turn it into a weapon. Operating in secrecy, the scientists recreated the disease under the codename Blackwing and prepared it for deployment. However, an accident aboard the Vector unleashed the sickness once more, turning almost all of the personnel aboard the vessel into savages. The infected also had some level of intelligence and were able to learn how to use technology like blasters and starships. They took control of the ship's tractor beam and used it to cripple the Imperial prison barge called the Purge, thereby forcing the ship's occupants to enter the Star Destroyer and become prey for the sickness. Among those prisoners was Han Solo and Chewbacca, who escaped because, well, plot armor. However, the Star Destroyer was not destroyed, but left adrift for the infected to await their next meal. Later on, the Empire's elite Death Troopers were named by Emperor Palpatine himself to capitalize on the rumors of Project Blackwing. Vampire clones. From zombie stormtroopers over now to vampire clones? For this entry, we jump over to the Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures Volume 9 comic titled Mace Windu, No Way Out. In this legend story, Mace Windu is sent on a mission to find the members of the Alpha 2 Clone Trooper Squad, which were deemed lost. As he enters the gates of an abandoned city, he meets Z-18, a hunchback Frankenstein of droid parts. Z-18 leads Windu to the Alpha 2 squad, who Mace discovers to be dead. The Jedi Master is suddenly attacked by zombies of many different alien species, even the members of Alpha 2 Squad, who have also become zombified. Windu later finds himself hanging on a wall facing the Countess Regine. Regine reveals that she is, in fact, an angry vampire that has sucked the life forces from all the zombies she controls outside. Z-18 turns out to be in her service, too. Windu learns that Regine had already started sucking out his life force as soon as he stepped through the city gates, his ability to use the Force beginning to dwindle. Much later that night, Z-18 frees Mace Windu and reveals that he used to belong to a Jedi Knight named Samuro, who died on the planet. Samuro had used his remaining Force power to trap Regine on the planet and left a Jedi holocron in Z-18's possession to give the next Jedi who happened to stumble upon the planet, in this case, Mace Windu. The Master confronts Regine, who is angered and destroys Z-18 with Windu's lightsaber. She then turns to the Jedi, who activates the holocron containing a message from Samuro. Windu and the hologram of Samuro using a force spell to temporarily bring all the zombies back to life, and they destroy Regine. Noting that all their life forces are free, Mace reports that the Alpha 2 squad is no longer lost. Brain invaders. Now over to our first of 2 zombie cases from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the Geonosian brainworms. These were worm-like parasites that had the capability of controlling minds and even controlling dead Geonosians. They hatched from yellow eggs and were known to be used by the Geonosian Queen Karina the Great during the Clone Wars. Due to their Geonosian biology, they reacted negatively to cold temperatures. During the Second Battle of Geonosis, Queen Karina used the worms within her undead minions to endlessly pursue a search party sent by the Republic to find Jedi Master Luminara Unduli. The search party was led by Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, whom the Queen intended to eventually use and control, although that plan would fail. Kenobi intended to study the worms, but Anakin thought otherwise.
God! What are you doing? I was going to study that! Study the bottom of my boot! Come on, let's get out of here!
After the battle, a surviving worm hatched and crawled into one of the clone troopers of the Tango Company, who was resting outside of the temple. As the company boarded a frigate to depart for a medical station, the infected clone brought more eggs in his backpack and eventually infected the entire clone crew. The clones took control of the ship and proceeded to infect Jedi Padawan Barriss Offee. Ahsoka Tano ruptured the ship's coolant system, weakening the worms. She then dueled the infected Barriss, but the cold finally got to the worm within Barriss, and Ahsoka killed it as it was crawling out. They were then all treated at the Republic Medical Station, which was overseen by Jedi Master Kit Fisto. Army of the Dead. The Army of the Dead was a force of Night Sister zombies on the planet Dathomir, who answered the call of the Night Sister witches to fight against the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Separatist invasion of the planet, in response to Asajj Ventress and Mother Talzin's attempts on Count Dooku's life. The army was summoned by Old Daka during the battle to stop General Grievous and his forces from wiping out the Night Sisters. The tide was turning in the favor of the Night Sisters after the Army of the Dead was risen, that is, until Grievous stormed the hidden cave and murdered Daka, thus also killing the zombies and leaving the witches outnumbered. The Night Sisters were massacred and their village was left in ruins. Over a decade later on the Star Wars timeline, we encounter the Night Sister zombies once again when Cal Kestis is sent to Dathomir to uncover hidden secrets left behind by the Zepho species in his search to uncover the key to open their vault. Upon arriving on the planet, Cal stumbles upon the Night Sister Marin, who considered Cal Kestis to be an enemy and sends her minions to attack him. During their battle, Marin summons Night Sister zombies to aid her before Kestis cuts them down, and Marin later allies with the young Jedi. Sith Zombies. Sith Korriban zombies were featured throughout the Tales of the Jedi Dark Lords of the Sith Legends comics, a run which existed long before the Tales of the Jedi animated series. The Korriban zombies were native to, you guessed it, the Sith tomb world of Korriban. They were originally created in 7000 BBY by Sith King Dafka Grosh's experiments using Sith alchemy and magic to reanimate corpses. Are we sensing a bit of a theme here? The creatures were soon discovered to be capable of creating more of their kind by biting living sentient beings. After tumultuous 50-year reign, Grosh was assassinated, and the spirits animating the zombies were collected in a crystal known as the Heart of Grosh that was buried with him in his tomb, located in Korriban's Valley of the Golg. For the next 7 millennia, the zombies served as guardians of the tombs of the Sith Lords. The creatures lay dormant for extended periods of time and were only awakened by the commands of the deceased Sith Lord spirits or the disturbance of Grosh's crystal in order to eliminate any intruders or would-be tomb robbers. The zombies' limited intelligence allowed them to wield weapons, and this attribute, coupled with their intimidating presence, ensured that few sentience prevailed during an encounter with the Korriban zombies. Come join us to chat more at our community Discord server, linked in the description. If you enjoyed today's Star Wars video, we've got more on the screen for you right now. Also make sure to drop a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe to join the Red Squadron. Until next time, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Red 5, standing by.